Thank you. Good afternoon. My spirit name is Anishinaabe Kwaitanaki, and my given name is Lori Jump. I'm a citizen of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians and a survivor of both domestic and sexual violence. I've been an advocate for survivors for almost 40 years, and I come here today as the Executive Officer for StrongHearts Native Helpline. Miigwech, thank you for this opportunity to provide testimony on Title II, Justice and Safety for Native Children. Title II offers a number of provisions that will have a positive impact on access to justice and healing for American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian peoples. While all of the provisions are important, I will focus my remarks on Section 204, which will have the most impact on the work that we do at StrongHearts. Indian country has the highest rates of violence across our country, and yet our relatives have the least access to services intended to respond to that violence. There are 575 federally recognized tribes in the United States, but less than half of them have funding to provide the life-saving services that so many of our relatives need. In our StrongHearts directory of Native-centered resources, we have 274 domestic violence programs and 67 domestic violence shelters. Remember, there are 575 tribal nations, so that number is woefully, it doesn't meet the need. Section 2 of the proposed legislation will codify several important provisions that are currently funded through discretionary appropriations. These include the Alaska Native Women's Resource Center, the Native Hawaiian Women's Resource Center, and StrongHearts Native Helpline. Indigenous people have a different worldview that is often misunderstood by Western organizations. Where others may say they have rights, we say that we have obligations. And where others may say that I don't know that person, we say that they are a relative. And as a relative, we have an obligation to care for them. And that worldview, I think, is precisely why this legislation is so important to us. The services provided by the three organizations that I mentioned help to ensure that survivors have access to services that meet their needs. The resource centers and the tribal coalitions all provide incredibly important training and technical assistance to tribal nations, to tribal programs, and tribal communities. This training ensures that programs developed are victim-centered, trauma-informed, and empowerment-based. StrongHearts is a national, anonymous, and confidential helpline for our relatives. For those communities that do not have domestic violence services, we can fill that gap, giving all of our relatives, no matter where they are or what time of day or night, access to peer support, safety planning, and warm handoffs to services for ongoing support. In just under 9 years of operation, we have received more than 80,000 contacts and made more than 32,000 referrals to other organizations for ongoing support. In the early years, when StrongHearts had limited hours of operations, we used a recording that allowed callers to transfer to the National Domestic Violence Hotline simply by pressing 1 to ensure that no call went unanswered. Less than 10% of callers chose to use the transfer option. And to me, this speaks to the desire for culturally honoring services that our relatives are seeking and deserve. The proposed legislation will ensure that we can continue to do this work on behalf of and with our relatives. In closing, I'd like to thank you all and express my genuine gratitude to the committee for considering my testimony. I'd like to conclude by reminding our federal partners of the significance of codifying the critical support to tribes and tribal organizations. It shows an investment in our communities, promoting solutions that come from our strengths, our culture, and our collective knowledge. That investment advances safer, healthier communities where access to not only justice, but access to healing is achievable, and where Native individuals, families, and communities can not only survive, but thrive. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jump. And our final contributor to the panel this morning is Mr. Mark Patterson. I guess it's afternoon, but it's morning there in Hawaii still. So, Mr. Patterson, welcome.